Welcome to Key Tech. Please describe this channel if you are interested in today's video. After suspending the cooperation between the US technology system and Chinese companies, the US spared no effort to invite TSMC, Samsung and other international companies to build factories. A series of actions seemed to be smooth, but the conspiracy behind it could no longer be hidden. It constantly revised chip rules and completely destroyed international market order. Achieving technological leadership through suppression is obviously not suitable for this era. At this stage, all countries have a certain scientific research foundation, and they all have world-leading technologies in certain fields. In the process of starting chip restrictions, China will give thanks. The Deng team has learned a good lesson. The United States has neglected one point. Suppressing restrictions can indeed make people desperate, but as long as there is a chance, heavy retaliation will follow. Dominate. What does that mean? Is the Biden team going in the wrong direction? Electronic chips based on silicon-based materials can be regarded as invented by Americans in name. Originally, the United States had the opportunity to flourish and even monopolize the entire industry. In the 1990s, Intel was a giant in the industry, but American capital wanted to make money easily. To maximize the benefits, the dirty work of heavy assets will be dispersed, and Asia is naturally an important receiving place. TSMC, Samsung, ASML, and other companies are products of this era. After more than 20 years of industrial upgrading, international companies have continued to replace their own technology. American semiconductor has been a little out of control, just like Huawei. Equipped with the 5 nanometers process realized by TSMC process, this suddenly made the United States panicked. In order to prevent the disadvantages from spreading, the United States is trying to isolate the threat Chinese semiconductors. The so-called Chip Four-Party Alliance and the US-Japan-Netherlands Tripartite Agreement are to lock the core-making capabilities of Chinese companies. The Dutch official announced new regulations were implemented this summer to limit the shipment of DUV lithography machines, and Japan will soon follow up, giving the impression that the US has achieved its goal of locking down the 14 nanometers process. But things are not that simple. The U.S. intelligence agency recently stated, U.S. export controls on China will lead to the country's dominance in the field of low-capability chips, and Chinese companies that continue to expand chip foundries are still U.S. semiconductor companies. The biggest potential risk. In the field of high-end chips, U.S. companies have the absolute right to speak. Intel, Qualcomm, Nvidia, etc. all have the power to monopolize the world, but they are not perfect. They only have R&D and design capabilities. Highly dependent on TSMC, this is the root cause of the wrong decisions made by the United States in the 1990s. Although Huawei can design 5 nanometers chips, the core underlying technical instruction set architecture and EDA design software all rely on European and American companies, and the foundry also relies on TSMC. This is why Huawei's semiconductor industry is quickly locked up. The reason is that in the face of its high dependence on globalization, it is difficult to break through the bottleneck of high-end chip manufacturing in the short term. However, according to the latest statistics, the high-end chip market of American companies only accounts for 25%, while the market demand for mature technology has broken through to 75%. With the rise of smart cars and the Internet of Everything industry, etc., it is better for 14 nanometers and above. As intelligence agencies predicted, the Biden team really went in the wrong direction. Chip rules are about to expire. It is impossible for us to make a breakthrough in just a few years with the achievements made by Western countries for more than half a century. Therefore, we naturally do not have an advantage in the field of high-end chips, but it is completely different in the field of mid- and low-end chips. American companies have almost given up on low-end chips now. Shipments, but the fact is that many cutting-edge high-end technology fields still need low-end chips. Domestic academicians have called for many times, focus on mature technology. At first, the Chinese people complained about the practice of not thinking about making progress, but now they understand how wise it is. SMIC, which listened to the persuasion, actively expanded in major cities' production capacity. After the factory is fully put into operation, the monthly production capacity will increase by 340,000 pieces. While meeting domestic demand, it will also be able to achieve large-scale external shipments. In many supporting industries, Chinese suppliers have covered the 28-nanometer process, such as the cleaning machine of Pure Technology, the etching machine of Microsemiconductor, the ion implanter of China Electronics Technology, the IF photoresist of Nanda Optoelectronics, etc. A relatively complete industrial chain has been formed. At present, the mass production of 90 nanometers lithography machines has been realized in China, and breakthroughs have been made in the core technology of 28 nanometers lithography machines. As long as Shanghai Microelectronics can assemble them, a completely independent industrial chain can be built. Once China has perfected the layout of mature chips, no country in the world will be able to compete. This has always been the case. As long as it is a technology that is broken by China, it will be good news for the whole world. Who would refuse high-performance, low-cost chips? What about the price of the product? The United States invites TSMC to build factories in the United States, all of which are based on high-end technologies such as 5 nanometers and 3 nanometers. And the target of supporting Intel is also in the high-end field, but low-end chips account for the largest market. As long as we can fully control this market, which is equivalent to having the corresponding bargaining chip, so the chip rule is likely to fail. What do you think of this? Thank you for your watching.